Thinking about moving to Mexico but not sure where to start? In this video, we're breaking down the very first steps to help you begin with confidence.
We recently had a great one-on-one call with a couple asking this exact question, and we realized it's something a lot of people are wondering about.
So today we're walking you through the first steps that we recommend if you're even thinking about relocating to Mexico, based on real conversations with real people like you.
Whether you're thinking about moving to Mexico or really anywhere abroad, one of the best things you can do before making a big move is to plan a trial stay. We always recommend at least 1 to 3 months if you can swing it. In fact, in Mexico, you can plan up to a 6-month stay with a tourist permit. So if you can stay here for up to 6 months, I would say take advantage of that and do so before you commit to full time here.
And to be clear, we don't mean coming down for a vacation. That's fun, but it's not the same as living here. This is your chance to test drive your potential future lifestyle. So what we mean by coming down for a vacation would be like staying at an expensive hotel in Centro and going to all the rooftop dining spots every night and doing all the touristy activities every day and never leaving the historical center. Living somewhere would be to stay outside of the Centro Histórico, maybe in a potential neighborhood where you think you might want to live, seeing what it's like to live with the locals and everyone around you, what the noises are like, and what it feels like to actually live here and cook in your home and go to the grocery store and shop and all of those things.
Exactly. You want to do regular stuff, grocery shopping, laundry, navigating the city without a car, maybe dealing with a leaky faucet.
Which does happen sometimes, but those moments are valuable. They show you what day-to-day life actually feels like, not just the Instagram version of a day.
Try to rent a place, like Antonieta said, where you can realistically see yourself living in. Skip the all-inclusive resort hotels. Look for something more local, even a little bit out of your comfort zone. And like you said, out in the outskirts, not in the touristy section of town, but somewhere where you realistically would find an apartment to live in.
This is where you learn. Do you like walking on cobblestone streets back, from your apartment or your house that you're renting to Centro, and it's a 15-20 minute walk, and now you're walking on the cobblestones? Is that something you can do every day? Are the hills a problem? Can you sleep through the church bells or the neighborhood dogs and all the different noises that we get here?
Yeah, the 5 o'clock fireworks.
Yeah.
And on and on. Do you enjoy cooking with the local ingredients you find here? Do you feel safe walking around at night? What's the noise level like? How's the internet?
Also, how do you feel emotionally after a few weeks? Are you still excited to be here? Or do you start to feel isolated or homesick, a little lonely? Were you able to make friends while you were here, if that's something you want to do? These are all important clues to knowing if you really want to live in the place.
Yeah, and also we should say these are real suggestions that we're sharing with you based on our experience here. This isn't exactly what we did.
No.
We actually bought our project on the very first initial visit that we made to San Miguel within a few days of being here. We do not recommend doing that at all.
Yeah.
We've seen so many people do that after us and then regretted it after a few months for whatever reason.
Or even a year, and they end up selling their properties and leaving because it just wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and they weren't happy, and they just wanted to go back home.
The idea isn't to make a big life decision right away. It's to gather real data. Your trial stay is about asking yourself, can I see myself living like this?
And give it time. The first week might feel like a vacation, but by week 2 or 3, real life starts to show up. That's when the insights come in.
Yeah, and that's why we say if you have multiple months to visit, do it, because the first 1 to 3 weeks might actually be a vacation lifestyle. It's inevitable. If you're excited about a new place, you're going to want to go to the best restaurants and see all the sights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to get beyond that and really settle in so that you can experience the everyday life. And if you can't do 3 months, even 1 month is better than nothing. But the longer you stay, the more realistic it becomes.
We've seen people fall in love with San Miguel in week 1. Trust me, we've had many guests who have come, they stay with us, and by the end of the week, they've bought a house. And others who realized that it wasn't the right fit after a month. So either outcome is a win because now you know.
And if San Miguel doesn't feel right, try another city. Maybe it's Lake Chapala, Oaxaca, Mérida, Querétaro, Mexico City. There's so many different places you can explore and try out. Each place offers a different rhythm.
But start with one, try it on. You might be surprised what you learn, not just about the place, but about yourself. One of the biggest questions we hear when people are planning a trial stay is, what do we do with our pets?
Totally understandable. Pets are part of the family, and making sure they're safe and comfortable while we travel is a big deal.
When we first moved, we had a pet who sadly passed away just before we moved here. It was devastating and heartbreaking, but it did simplify the logistics for us because we were thinking, how are we going to get our cat there? But then when she passed away, we didn't have to think about that anymore. So once we were here, we ended up adopting 2 cats, a brother and sister, and they had a wonderful life here until they too passed away a couple of years ago. But I had them for a good 12 to 14 years.
Having 4-legged housemates is a lot of fun, whether they move in with you after your move or they accompany you on your big journey.
If you're only coming for a month or 2, one good option is to leave them at home with a trusted house or pet sitter. There are platforms like trustedhousesitters.com or housesitmexico.com that connect travelers with experienced sitters who stay in your home and take care of everything. In fact, we did that one time when we went away for 3 weeks. We did housesitmexico.com, and a woman came from the United States and stayed in our home and took care of our cat for 3 weeks while we were gone, and it worked really, really well.
Yeah, it really gives you peace of mind. You can interview the sitter, check reviews, and even have video calls beforehand to make sure it's a good match.
And it's not just for dogs and cats. Some people have birds, rabbits, or even chickens. There's usually someone out there who can handle it.
Now, if the idea of leaving your pets behind just doesn't sit right with you, there's another option. Drive down and bring them with you.
That's actually what a lot of people do when they're planning to move here long-term or even for extended trial stays. Driving gives you more control, especially when traveling with pets who might be anxious flyers.
Plus, you can bring everything you need: beds, food, crates, and you don't have to worry about airline restrictions or pet travel fees.
But that's another option too. If your pet is small, then you can fly with them on the airplane underneath your seat. Just make sure that you have the proper vet paperwork, vaccination records, and a good understanding of the entry requirements into Mexico. It's not super complicated, but you do want to have your documents in order.
And also keep in mind the weather if you're driving through hot zones. Pets can overheat in the car really quickly.
The bottom line is, don't let the pet question stop you from doing a trial stay. There's always a solution.
And doing a short stay without them might even help you figure out if moving here is going to be a good fit for them. Some pets really adjust well, while others might struggle.
So whether you leave them with a sitter or bring them with you, it's all part of the research phase. You're testing what this new life might actually look like for everyone in the family.
While you're planning your trial stay, it's also a good time to start looking into residency. We always recommend that people don't wait too long to research their visa options.
Especially because the process can take time, and it's usually easier to handle the paperwork while you're still in your home country. For Mexico, you'll typically start at the Mexican consulate near you.
There are a few main visa types. Most people begin with the temporary resident visa, which is valid for 1 to up to 4 years. And after that, you can apply for your permanent visa. And depending on your circumstances, you might qualify for permanent residency right away. In fact, we did a video a few months ago, and if you haven't seen that, it's about the various visa requirements and visa options out there. We'll put a link up above and you can watch it later.
Income or saving requirements vary by consulate, so it's a good idea to check with the one that's nearest you. And they all interpret the rules a little differently.
Yeah, that's something that I still don't understand why this is, but that's bureaucracy in Mexico in general, is that there is not one set rule. So you have to just go and ask. Now, on one of our recent one-on-one calls with a subscriber, she brought up a case that was pretty exciting. The possibility of getting Mexican residency through her mother.
Yes, if you have a Mexican parent, you're likely eligible for citizenship, even if you were born outside of the country and have never lived in Mexico, which was my case as well. My father is Mexican, and I'm born in San Francisco, California, and I was able, through my father, to get my Mexican birth certificate and a Mexican passport.
There are sometimes challenges, things like name discrepancies or missing documents, but those things can usually be worked out. We've seen people succeed in getting their citizenship even when the paperwork didn't line up perfectly at first.
It's the name discrepancies that can be very challenging. They have to match perfectly, but sometimes it just takes the extra effort and going the extra mile to make sure the names match by changing your name in the United States, which is something I had to do because my name was spelt incorrectly on my American birth certificate. I never thought much of it growing up. I didn't give it any thought. It became a problem because my name was spelt wrong. And so I had to go to Sacramento and have my name changed. Then once that matched, everything got easier, but it took that extra step.
And becoming a citizen has some big benefits. You don't have to renew visas, that's huge. Well, that also happens when you become a permanent resident as well. You can own property in restricted zones without needing a bank trust. And of course, you get full rights and responsibilities as a Mexican national.
We introduced our subscriber to someone who can guide her through that process. And if you're in a similar boat, definitely look into it. It's absolutely worth the effort.
Whether you're pursuing residency or looking at citizenship, the sooner you start learning about the process, the smoother things will go.
And remember, your trial stay is the perfect time to dip your toe and explore. Not just whether you feel good here, but how the legal side of the move will work for you. So if you're just starting to think about moving to Mexico or anywhere abroad, those first steps really matter.
Absolutely. A trial stay, figuring out the pet situation, and getting a head start on your residency or even citizenship, it's all part of building a move that feels right for you.
And we've said this before, but moving abroad isn't just a checklist. It's a process. It's very emotional, it's logistical, and it's very personal.
That's why we do these videos and why we offer one-on-one calls for people like our subscriber and others who just want some help sorting through all the options.
If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more honest conversations about international living, trial stays, and building a life abroad on your own terms.
And if you've already started your journey or you've got questions about how to get going, drop us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!